who is most domestically violent towards women?
Surprisingly, it's actually women.
It's not.
Yeah, no, actually, no. So check this.
Myron Gaines totally crushes these feminist worldview live in front of students as Myron Gaines states the obvious facts about women that the liberals just don't want to hear, as we know, in these debates because it's just mean and hurts their feelings. You know, good thing Myron doesn't care. Let's get into this clip.
You said we should remove women's right to vote because they're not part of the draft.
Yeah.
So if we hypothetically either abolish the draft or made women subject to it, would you change your stance?
No, because women are physically inferior to men and shouldn't be in war anyway.
Well, okay, but would you not agree that some women are physically
Oh,
superior
one of
to
the ladies
some
back
men?
there said period? See? When it benefits them, they agree. They don't want to go to war. Somebody said period. They agree with me. All right, go ahead.
But would you not argue that some women are physically superior to some men? Some women are physically strong and some men are physically weak?
Sure, but these are exceptions to the rule, right?
So why should they be excluded if they can meet the criteria?
Well, here's the thing. Now, this is what I'm a firm believer in. I think there needs to be one standard. If women could pass it, then sure. But I think in general, most women won't be able to pass it. And the other thing, too, is that keep in mind, guys, like when I say men are physically superior to women, I truly mean that. Like an average 15-year-old boy can beat up like 90% of 20-year-old women. Like that is how physically inferior women are. They literally are, everything about them is just inferior physically. Bone structure, muscle density, lung capacity, everything. Right? High school boys like will play sports against like, collegiate and or professional women and smoke them. This isn't for me to be like, oh yeah, I hate women or whatever, but it's just the truth. It's the biological truth. So I don't think putting women in war is a good idea. And then the other thing too, and we could talk about this, the reality is when women are captured as prisoners of war, it's going to be a lot worse for them than for a man. And it's going to put a ridiculous amount of pressure on the United States to negotiate to get that prisoner of war out. This is precisely why the Israelis kill their citizens instead of negotiate, right, with the Hannibal Directive. So what ends up happening a lot of the times, if you get a female prisoner, the enemy knows that they could go ahead and negotiate for far more, and they have more leverage from a diplomatic sense, and creates a geopolitical nightmare for the country that is trying to get them back. This is exactly why Israel has the Hannibal Directive, where if Arab militia fighters are kidnapping people, they'd rather kill those people being kidnapped than allow them to get back into Gaza or to the West Bank or whatever, because it puts them in a very bad situation on their back foot geopolitically. So, I don't think, for the purposes of prisoner of war, also men have a natural instinct to protect women. This is why women couldn't join infantry for so long, because when they're in infantry, the men are going to compromise the unit or do stupid things to go ahead and compensate for that woman's lack of strength or capabilities or whatever it is. Now, I think in maybe some support roles, maybe women can be involved, right, if they pass the physical standards or whatever, but I would make it very hard where, the women need to be in the top 1 or 2% to be able to get in the first place, and if they do, it'd probably be from a support role, because I'm not a firm believer in weakening our military, for social justice, and that's what we've effectively done, right? Women want to feel like they're equal and involved, and it's like, no, dude, this is war. We need the best.
Well, okay, so that answers part A of the question, but part B, say we just abolish the draft altogether, right? We have a very strong, very large standing army. We haven't used the draft in decades. Would you then change your position? Also, follow-up question. You said a lot of women are not interested in the more high IQ parts of governing. Do you think that women are less intelligent than men?
No, we just have different interests. Women are just tend to be more interested in people. Men tend to be more interested in things. From an IQ perspective, men and women are very, very close, right? It's not much different. But most geniuses are men. But also most retards are men. So, we dominate both the good and bad side of the spectrum, but we tend to be in an average with women at the same level. But no, I think even if we abolish the draft, I wouldn't want women in the military, man. I just don't think it's a good idea. I think if they are in there, it's one standard and they'd be in support roles. I don't think they should be in active combat.
Sure, but I think the issue, and I don't want to take too much time. I know there's people waiting.
Sure.
I think the issue is you're supporting disenfranchising women of their right to have a say in government, which is going to make decisions upon what they can or cannot do based entirely on their eligibility for the draft. And I think that's more than a little bit extreme.
Well, that might be your opinion, but I don't think so. I think if you have skin in the game, then you should have a say. That's how it should.
You can call Myron Gaines whatever names you want here, but he is exactly right in this scenario on this point. I mean, women are inferior physically. They don't hold up the same way. We talked about it multiple times on this channel. They don't belong in the military. They just don't. You are weakening your military by just feeding it with a whole bunch of women, especially the blue-haired, whatever. The NBA and the WNBA, you can't have Title IX, you can't have men's leagues and women's leagues that differentiate between the genders and then pretend like that doesn't matter when they enter the military. You just can't have it both ways. You can't have your cake and eat it too. It's these wokies are just pretending like it actually doesn't matter. That's all they're doing. They're just pretending like, oh, it's okay, they're all the same. Like, no. I mean, we all understand. We've all seen it. All to feed into this delusion that, look, women, hey, it's fine if they want to be a supportive role. They can help, and that's great. But at the same time, they have to be able to pass the test. And for years, they've been making it weaker and weaker and weaker to get women into the military because they don't have the people that can do it. And they're trying to appeal to more women. This is weakening our infrastructure, our own force, we're going to be, and any nation that is going to end up doing this will be weakened as well. And will be, by definition, get weaker than their opponent if they just stuff it, comparatively stuff it full of men. And this is why women don't belong in war. There's just no place. But let me know in the comments what you think. If you think women should be allowed in the military, and to what degree, hit that like button. It helps the algorithm a lot. And subscribe, chance. Helps the algorithm a lot. And now let's get back into the video.
Who is most domestically violent towards women?
Surprisingly, it's actually women.
It's not.
Yeah, no, actually, no. So check this out. The highest domestic violence actually occurs a lot of the times between same-sex individuals who are women. And then the other thing also that's interesting is, because they did a whole meta-analysis on this, what they found was when there's violence only going one way, where one partner is beating on the other, it's typically women to men. They're beating on the man. But when it's, but the majority obviously of like domestic violence is they beat on each other. So it's two-way. But when it's only one party attacking another, it's the woman to the man most of the time. So, I think that's a misconception that a lot of people have where, people think that, oh, men are just beating up on women or whatever. It happens, but I don't think it's as prevalent as people try to say. And, this is like feminist propaganda to push certain things out and get certain legislation going or whatever. But the reality is that it's really the women that tend to be more violent with that stuff because women don't have a proper concept of violence. I'll explain this, right? So, see, the thing with men, right, is when men deal with each other, there's already inherent respect to a degree because we understand that we're capable of killing each other, right? Because we have the physicality to do so. Women don't understand this that much, right? This is why, like earlier, I'll give you an example. When I was out doing the thing, the people that were heckling me the most were women, right? And the reason why they did that is because women don't understand the concept of violence and consequences, repercussions for talking shit because women don't get punched in the face by men, luckily, right? But men do. So if you say the wrong thing to a guy, you know that there might be a physical confrontation that can end your life. Women don't understand this concept for a multitude of different reasons because, obviously we live in a civilized world. Men don't really attack women like that, which is good. Women, when they do fight with each other, they're weak, so who cares? So in general, women don't have a proper concept of violence. So this is why they tend to be more violent because they don't understand the consequences and ramifications of it.
But who commits more violent crimes?
Men do in general, for sure.
Yeah, and it's against women a lot of the time.
Well, it's actually mostly against us.
Oh, it is against other men
It's
because
against
men are
us.
like a majority.
Yeah.
It's men, yeah.
Yeah, but men also create the world that you live in. Like, there's going to be pluses and negatives, right? So I get what you're saying. Like, yeah, men commit violent crime. They do, but when they do, it's typically against other men. And, there's going to be really good with really bad, right? Everything was pretty much invented by men. I actually did a double check. Why women didn't invent Wi-Fi, man? I went ahead and looked that up, and I was like, what the hell? Like, they did not invent Wi-Fi. So, proves my point. Women don't invent shit. But, yeah.
Okay. I just think that's, like, kind of crazy to bring up during, like, domestic abuse, like, awareness month and, like, sexual violence awareness month.
The truth is the truth.
Okay.
Regardless of the month.
First off, the young girl's wrong about, men committing so much violence against women. No, it's overwhelmingly towards other men. I mean, that right there is just a complete lie. Like, she doesn't know what she's talking about in this scenario. But to Myron Gaines' point, I think he made a pretty good point about why women don't understand violence. And it makes sense, right? In between the civilized world, technology, feminism, I think that's why today you see more violent, crazy, unhinged women crashing out. I mean, you see YouTube videos, TikTok, whatever, getting in fights with cops, using their body to try and get there. I believe the prison population for women since the 90s has increased tenfold. Tenfold since the 90s to today is insane. Because women are allowed to think they're equal, but they don't actually understand that they're not. They just start doing stupid shit, and they just don't understand the ramifications of it. of their actions. And unfortunately for us and for the system we've created that we've allowed to fester has fostered this entire environment and for all of it to happen, right? And the liberal ideology, just despite the consequences of what it produces, continues to say this is good. Keep doing it. But folks, thanks for watching here. Let me know in the comments what you think about Myron Gaines had to say, crushing these feminist worldviews. Thanks again for watching. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.